And welcome to CEWT. This is our podcast, Continuing Education and Workforce Training. We provide non-credit varying classes to our community for personal and professional growth, for workforce training, and for apprenticeships. We are part of Idaho State University's College of Technology, and this is our outreach effort. Today we'll be talking with Sharon Manning. Sharon, welcome. This is truly a pleasure to have her here. She is the chairperson for the United Senior Project, and we'll get a chance to talk about that a little bit. So our format, as a reminder, will be very conversational. We have the timer already started. It goes off at 20 minutes, no matter where we are, and we'll just stop it and wrap it up at that point. So that keeps us on track. Sharon, welcome to CEWT Talk.
Thank you, Gary.
Okay, so our focus today is going to be United Senior Project. Sharon, United Senior Project is common to you and me. We know a little bit about that. You certainly know a lot since you're driving that committee. But maybe you could tell us a little bit about what is the United Senior Project, and in particular, how does that relate or how does that differ from NKA, which is New Knowledge Adventures?
Maybe I'll begin by explaining how it grew out of NKA.
That's a great start. Go for it.
When I retired, I knew that there was a lively group of people my age who got together for learning experiences, lifelong learners. And I knew I wanted to be a part of that group. And so I joined NKA and was taking advantage of all that they have to offer, and became their curriculum committee chair, which is putting together all the classes that NKA offers to their membership. And that was the year when NKA came to Stonewall. They lost their lecture room, and were told that by the end of the year they'd also be losing the entire building where they had been holding their classes for the last several years. And NKA, New Knowledge Adventures, decided to put together an ad hoc committee to see what kind of possibilities were out there. This was 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
And since I was in this committee chair role, I just kind of was given the assignment to check into those possibilities. So we looked and talked to different groups in the community who were also maybe interested in sharing some kind of facility with NKA. And as that group kind of got together and started meeting, we decided we needed a name, and since at that point in the game we were United Seniors trying to develop a project, a place to live, that was how NKA produced USP, United Seniors Project.
That's a good story. So going back, when you retired from teaching.
Yes.
You were a teacher.
I was.
And you were looking around for more learning opportunities for yourself, and you got involved with NKA, and then NKA was helping satisfy that, but then you were trying to find a place where NKA
could meet.
You know, a place where they could always call its own and have those same courses. That developed into the United Senior Project.
That did.
All right, so I know NKA, and I know there's this group called USP, or United Senior Project. Now, what is the USP trying to do, and who makes up USP?
Okay, today, currently, USP is a group of people from AARP of Pocatello, BNA, the Bonneville Neighborhood Association, Snake River New Horizons Band, SRNHB, and NKA, New Knowledge Adventures. And we have banded together as a community to secure, renovate, and sustain a facility for those groups and their programs and activities. And so that's what we're working towards right now, is to find a facility that would house all of us, so that we can just have our programs.
Okay, so that strikes me as a fairly large facility to house all these different groups. I mean, is NKA the largest membership in that group of organizations?
NKA is.
Okay, so that's over 500.
We've been up to 600,
Okay.
but between 535 to, I'd say, 550 strong all the time.
Okay, and then you have AARP, the Bonneville Neighborhood Association, Snake River New Horizons Band. How many members does that bring to the USP organization?
The band has approximately 48,
Okay.
and probably Bonneville Neighborhood has, I'd say, probably 50.
All right.
And then the AARP has probably about 100 maybe active members in the Pocatello area.
So that's about 205. Let's call it 700 is what we're thinking right now.
It
So
is.
we're looking for a home for about 700 seniors from 4 different organizations to go and continue doing their lifelong learning, someplace they can call theirs, right?
We would like to have like a lecture room.
Mm-hmm.
We'd like to have a dance room because these people love to dance and have activities. And then we would need classroom space for crafts. We have our wood carvers. We have our, oh goodness, card players. We have lots of different groups within NKA, and lots of different activities within that group.
Mm-hmm.
So,
And wouldn't that be true of the rest of them? I'm thinking the Snake River New Horizons Band. They got to practice somewhere, right?
and
Store their
instruments,
equipment.
store their instruments,
Right.
and they would love to have a stage to perform on, so that
Stage.
people could come. And that's kind of where we think that we could share space. You know, we could have our lecture hall have a space, but also, you know, have a stage for the band. Also for our Readers Theater, they would love to have a stage that they could perform on too. And then seating for those people in that room.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
It's-
activities for many different groups. So what kind of a building are we going to look for here? Something large?
Yes. When we started the project, we figured we needed at least 15,000 square feet to have all the different activities that we have. But I think we'd like to include other people who might be interested. We're in the process of speaking to our Senior Activities Center here, and they too might be interested in sharing a space with us. And we have another group that we're talking with that might also be interested in sharing space. So I think we want to have enough room that we can grow.
Mm-hmm.
We don't want to be outgrowing our space in a year or two.
Yeah, I can understand that. So is this only for seniors, or potentially would there be other younger groups able to use the facility?
You know, that's the trouble with our name, USP, United Seniors Project. It started out looking like it would be a seniors facility. But as we got to looking at buildings and how we would use buildings, it made more sense to kind of have even maybe a regional community center or a regional center where people could meet, because all of our groups not only pull from the Pocatello-Chubbuck area, but people come from American Falls, from Blackfoot, from Lava, McCammon, even from Grace, Idaho, to take part in these activities. And we have people coming from throughout the region, but we thought during the summertime, especially NKA does not meet, that would be a prime time to offer the facility to the community to have art workshops, music workshops, dance workshops for children who are out for summer break. And so we see our building as being used by a large number of people. Our vision didn't get any smaller, it got bigger.
You know, isn't that interesting? You have an idea, and as you begin to accumulate people who want to be a part of that idea, it never shrinks. You know, it just adds on. That's not necessarily bad, though. But I imagine there's some challenges ahead trying to find that location.
Finding the building.
Finding the building.
Is number one.
And you've been doing this for 2 years?
Yeah, 2 years.
2 years?
Yes.
Okay.
And we've gone to other communities to see what they have as well. And I think what the Pocatello area is offering is really unique because there are not many New Knowledge Adventures, NKAs, or Snake River New Horizon bands in the state of Idaho. Because of our NKA group, there's now a Friends for Learning in Idaho Falls and an NKA group in Boise. But they're not quite as big as we are yet. But there's a need for these kinds of activities for our senior community. But we can also benefit the entire community with this building.
Right, and that's a tremendous point too. I've had occasion to meet with or discuss with the other two groups, with FFL and NKA in Treasure Valley in Boise, and there is a strong benefit to our seniors to stay active, you know, to continue learning,
definitely.
to stay active in mind and in body with those activities. But there's a tremendous benefit to the community as well, because then they are not just being receptive of support, they're out there contributing to community, you know, broadening from their experience what they've learned as well. So it works both ways. So let me ask you here now. You've been doing this for a while. We're still looking for a building. We have good local support from the senior activities groups. Potentially the Senior Activities Center might be interested in working with us as well. What are you seeing from the local, regional government sources, our city council, the city leaders? Are they aware of this issue of we're looking for a place?
They are.
Okay.
They are. And I will say Mayor England in Chubbuck has been very supportive. And he said, come back and we can talk some more. The Pocatello City Council has a liaison who works with the Senior Activities Center, Rick Cheatham, and he has seen the benefits of what could happen if we can combine the groups. I don't know, you know, how much monetary support we can get because when you talked about challenges, after finding a facility, money to get the facility, to renovate the facility, to sustain the facility is really paramount too. And so, yes, we have some more work to do, but we have people working together with us too, and hopefully it will come together soon.
Yes. That's one of the things that, although this still seems to be a challenge, that's one of the good things that I see out of this is here's an active group of seniors who they're just not sitting down, they're out there trying to make things work. In this case, they're trying to make things work for a number of senior groups, but they're also very, very willing to support other community efforts and initiatives and do partnerships out there. That's a strong plus. I mean, there could be a lot of people just grumbling and throwing up their hands and saying, this isn't going to work, but you've stuck with it for 2 years now, and you continue to push on that. So that's a very positive thing. And thanks for doing that, because leadership of that committee is probably not the easiest thing you've ever done. Well, okay, managing a bunch of elementary school kids, maybe that's a little harder. Okay, so challenges moving forward. What kind of support are you getting now in trying to achieve this?
Do you know, I think our NKA group is very supportive of this. They know we are scattered throughout the city, and we've been very embraced by the city too, because we have people who have offered us spaces rent-free our wood carvers have a wonderful situation with, I believe it's Home Depot.
Right.
Home Depot. Quail Ridge has opened up one of their classrooms to us. We use Liberty Hall. Our dancers, I can't remember where their facility is, but they have a facility that they're using. So we're spread all out throughout the community, and I think we probably lost one of our most important assets, which is seeing one another. From all the different classes, we don't get to see each other so much. It's just the individual classes that we go to when we can see people.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. What the audience doesn't realize is at one point, continuing education and workforce training, we were co-located with the NKA group
We were.
in what we called the continuing ed building, and just recently purchased and is being turned into a mental health crisis center, which is another good use for that. But at one point we were together, and I do remember walking around, and seeing all the different seniors in the classrooms, playing pokers, learning new skills, the dance group coming on in, the reading groups. That was fantastic. We've lost that. Instead of being combined in one area, like you say, now you're scattered around.
And even seeing your staff. I mean, we
right.
had a very close relationship before, and now we don't get to see you so much.
Only at times like this, we say, well, let's get together and talk about it. Yeah,
So.
you're right. Challenges ahead, they really haven't changed. You're trying to find a place. You're trying to find support in terms of monetary support to continue, if you find a place, some kind of sustainability.
Yes.
That's always there. And you probably, as a member of NKA, but working with the members of the other groups, you're probably seeing that that's probably not something they can easily afford either.
None of the people can. I mean, seniors are generally on a fixed income, and although they are dedicated to what we're doing, it's difficult to always break through. And we did an initial fundraising, and everyone gave from the bottom of their heart, but they can't give $10,000. They can't give $100,000 towards these projects. It's just not there.
Right.
But their desire.
Desire's still there, the money may not be.
Yes.
And you're talking about a membership that was doing the donations, right?
We did, yes.
Okay.
The membership from NKA was doing the donations
Okay.
towards this.
Earlier on, we were talking with another young lady who works in Old Town, Stephanie
Pelagi.
Pelagi, yeah. And she was talking about the different events that they try to put on downtown. There might be some opportunities there to continue to work together to find fundraising opportunities for the United Senior Project, or also to get the word out and get more people involved in this thing here.
And we do have grant writers on board.
Good.
And so that will help us too when we can find our facility and get matching funds.
So is the first thing we need to do is find that facility? One
Find
that
it.
seems within workable reason that we could make that happen, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And we were, or we have been, we still are looking at one building, the Bonneville Elementary School.
Yes.
Which has been vacant for some time now. That might
It
be a
has.
possibility.
They have a lot of the facilities that we need,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a nice facility. It's got character,
Character.
just like seniors
Just
do.
like seniors do. And the nice thing about that is there's plenty of free parking around it.
Yes, free
Um,
parking.
And it's all one level, if I recall correctly.
It is, and we have handicapped accessibility throughout the building and within the restrooms. Not all the entrances are handicapped accessible, and I know some of our seniors would not like to think that they're handicapped, and they're not, but they have difficulty getting around sometimes, and some of them need to walk with canes or walkers, and we want to be able to accommodate their needs as well,
Sure.
because they're the ones who started all of this 21 years ago, and so we want to keep them involved.
You are so right. And I recall that seniors, you got to watch the curves. I'm sorry, we're at the limit of our podcast. I'm going to stop this now. Our time is up.
Thank you,
Sorry, Ms.
Gary.
Sharon. I want to say thank you to Sharon Manning for joining us and talking about the United Senior Project. I wish you all the best with that effort and see where we can help you push that forward. There may be some opportunity to reach out to Sharon if you have something that you'd like to talk with her about. Where could they get a hold of you at if they wanted to?
My telephone number
What would
is
that be?
208-233-9425.
Great. So if you'd like to get a hold of Sharon and talk with her about this, if you have an opportunity to ask some questions, or maybe you have some sources, resources that she might be able to use in this, there you go. You can reach us at cetrain.isu.edu. Please come to our website, look around and see what you can find. Join our newsletter, our blog, and see what this podcast looks like. Look at the rest of them, and I'm glad you joined us today. Thanks for joining Sweet Talk.
Thank you.